The most shocking moment in wrestling history just went down, and it involved the one man everyone thought was untouchable. Roman Reigns entered Crown Jewel 2025 as the most dominant force in the entire industry, but he was about to face something he never expected. His closest confidant and advisor Paul Heyman was about to make a choice that would change everything forever. If you haven't subscribed yet, then do it right now, because this story is absolutely insane and you need to be part of our community to see all the craziest wrestling moments as they happen. The main event was set and the stakes had never been higher. Roman Reigns walked into that arena with his head held high, knowing that he had conquered every single opponent who dared to step into the ring with him. His track record was nearly perfect and his dominance had become legendary. But in the shadows lurked Bronson Reed, a man who had been waiting for his moment, a man who had been training harder than ever before, and a man who believed that this was finally his time to strike at the very top of the mountain. Paul Heyman stood in the corner looking nervous about what was about to unfold. He had managed Roman Reigns for years and had orchestrated some of the greatest victories of his career, but today something felt different. There was tension in the air that everyone could feel. The crowd was on their feet from the very beginning as these two giants prepared to collide in a way that would echo through the entire wrestling world for years to come. The bell rang and immediately Bronson Reed came out firing with intensity and aggression that caught everyone off guard. Roman Reigns tried to counter, but something was off. Heyman kept looking worried from the outside and his hands were shaking as he watched the match unfold. Bronson Reed was faster and stronger than anyone had anticipated, and he was landing hit after hit on the tribal chief. The referee was working overtime trying to keep control of the situation because these two warriors were not holding back even slightly. Midway through the match, everything changed dramatically. Roman Reigns was beginning to find his rhythm and was starting to take control. He hit a massive spear that sent Bronson Reed flying across the ring and the crowd erupted. This was the moment that everyone expected Roman to take over and finish things off like he always did. But then something completely unexpected happened that shocked the entire wrestling universe. Paul Heyman walked up to Bronson Reed, who was struggling on the mat, and he did something that nobody saw coming. He pulled out a mysterious envelope from his pocket and handed it directly to Bronson Reed. The crowd went absolutely silent, trying to figure out what was happening. Roman Reigns looked absolutely confused and betrayed as he watched his right-hand man engage in this shocking moment of treachery. The tension in the arena became absolutely electric as everyone realized that something massive was about to go down. Bronson Reed opened the envelope and found instructions written inside. He quickly looked at Paul Heyman, who nodded at him with a serious expression on his face. Reed got back to his feet with renewed energy and a fire in his eyes that seemed almost unnatural. Roman Reigns was still processing what was happening when Bronson Reed launched himself forward with an explosion of power that nobody had seen before. This new Bronson Reed was different. He was motivated by something deeper, something that Paul Heyman had orchestrated behind the scenes. The back-and-forth action intensified dramatically as Bronson Reed unleashed move after move on Roman Reigns. Every attack was vicious and purposeful, and Roman Reigns found himself in unfamiliar territory. He was no longer dominating the match, instead he was struggling to keep up with his opponent. Paul Heyman watched from the ringside with a cold expression on his face, no longer the supportive manager but something far more calculating and sinister. Roman Reigns tried to regain control, but Bronson Reed would not let him breathe. Hit after hit came raining down and the tribal chief was starting to show signs of genuine struggle. The crowd was split because they could not believe that Paul Heyman would betray his longtime client and ally. This was unprecedented in the wrestling industry, and everyone knew they were witnessing something that would change the landscape of professional wrestling forever. The turning point came when Bronson Reed hoisted Roman Reigns up on his shoulders and prepared for his finishing move. Paul Heyman raised his fist in the air as if to signal that this was the moment. Roman Reigns was fighting with everything he had, but Bronson Reed's grip was too strong and his determination was too fierce. The crowd was on the edge of their seats because they knew what was about to happen would be absolutely historic. Bronson Reed executed his finishing maneuver with explosive force and Roman Reigns crashed down to the mat with a devastating impact. The referee counted and the crowd held their breath as the numbers climbed 1, 2, and 3. Bronson Reed had done the impossible. He had defeated the seemingly invincible Roman Reigns with the assistance and betrayal of Paul Heyman. The wrestling world had just witnessed one of the most shocking upsets in the entire history of the sport. As the bell rang and Bronson Reed's hand was raised, Paul Heyman entered the ring and stood face to face with Roman Reigns, who was struggling to get up. A smirk spread across Heyman's face as he looked down at his former client with cold calculation. He whispered something to Roman Reigns that the microphones could not pick up, but whatever he said seemed to cut deeper than any physical wound. This betrayal was personal and it was complete. The aftermath of this match sent shockwaves through the entire wrestling community. Fans everywhere were debating what this meant for the future of wrestling and what had motivated Paul Heyman to turn against his most successful client. Theories circulated about secret deals and hidden motivations, but one thing was clear: nothing would ever be the same again. The tribal chief had fallen and a new era was beginning to dawn. Make sure you subscribe to our channel right now so you never miss any of the craziest wrestling moments and shocking developments that continue to unfold in the professional wrestling world.